Hola my friends, welcome back to A Life I Choose. So today I'm back with my hubby Peter, and we had so much fun filming the husband and wife tag last time, and you guys responded so well to it because because you got to know us better and you got to know more about our relationship philosophy, that we thought it would be a good idea and another good opportunity to share our relationship philosophy with you by doing the assumptions tag. And so what happened was, on Instagram I asked you guys for your assumptions, and I received 0 assumptions, and then I asked again and I received 3 very polite, very kind, loving assumptions, and I was
just too nice.
I was like, okay, 1, my Instagram following isn't huge, and 2, you're really nice people, you don't want to be rude and send like, oh, I think that, like, you know, Emma's a bossy pants
Pete doesn't flush the toilet or something.
Whatever. So I said, okay, I'm going to put the assumptions out there, and then I'm going to ask you to vote. So I created a poll, and you guys voted. So we're going to go through the assumptions and what the votes were, and you're going to see our reactions to it. And hopefully this will be a chance for you guys to get to know us and our relationship philosophy better. So let's go. Pete is way more chill than Emma, and this was 75% yes and 25% no.
Who gets to react to this since you lost?
Since I lost. I don't think it's a losing situation necessarily. Pete is way more chill than Emma. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I think I am overall more relaxed. I don't know. It's maybe more of a mind frame I like to imagine myself being. But I'm pretty sure that in a lot of small things, or people who are close to me, people who work with me, people who are with me every day, know that I'm not that relaxed about everything. So
yeah,
I have the things that I'm like very kind of, how do you put it? I'm quite an anal person actually when it comes to stuff. So like even like with delegating, I'm not that relaxed. I have to be in control. So I think I like seeing myself as relaxed, but in reality, I also need to feel I'm in control. So I don't know if that's relaxed or not. But
like I think in certain ways you are more chilled than me. Like I do have certain rules, you know, like I have rules for how I start the day. I have rules for like what kind of food I eat and how much alcohol I choose to drink.
Basically, she has rules for practically everything.
I have a lot of rules.
And you like living your life by kind of boundaries. For you, boundaries are important because they allow you to...
They allow me to work at my best.
Yeah.
They allow me to be my best self. So I like rules. So in that way, Pete's more chilled because Pete will be more relaxed about what he eats or what.
No, I don't really believe in rules per se. For me, it's much like flexibility is a much more important value to me than being bound by a kind of strict philosophy. But I suppose we balance each other out in that way.
Yeah. Pete loves his business partner Yao more than he loves Emma. 22% yes, 78% no. This assumption I put there because it's kind of a joke between me and Yao's partner wife. Yao's
partner wife.
Yao's wife's Yao's wife Tina. We kind of joke because, you know, Pete and Yao spend so much time together and they have to have so many discussions and they go out for lunch together. And at the beginning of the business, like when you guys were first starting, like all of your focus, all of your energy had to be there, like and it's still a lot of your energy has to be there. So the kind of around the beginning of your business, we started joking like, because they're more married to each other than they are to us. And it's true, for a while it did feel that way because it is like a marriage, a business partnership. Now it's more balanced.
Because when you said it is like a marriage, I was like, yes, but like kind of.
Okay, there isn't the sex part.
Yeah, exactly.
But
not just that, like, but yeah, no, I suppose there's a lot of overlap in it.
Maybe if there were the sex part, it would be a bit easier.
Look, the way I see it is, I mean, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a partner, like a romantic relationship partner, my wife, that I really feel is like by my side. And I'm also blessed to have one of my best friends who's my business partner. And so that gets rid of a lot of noise because we don't really need to think about things like money or who's bringing in what client, or like we just understand the setup is we're doing this together, everything's going to get split down the middle. And even maybe if there are situations where somebody needs more than the other, we just know that we can talk to each other. And so it's like I think flexibility comes out of that comfort.
Yeah.
So what I would say is it's not a competition. I love them both in different ways, but I love them both. So
yes, you do.
That's the way I see it.
Okay. Emma does more housework than Pete. And this got a 58% yes and a 42% no. And I do want to mention that most of the people who voted no were men.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do I do more housework than you?
This is gonna be problematic, guys. I think no, you do tend to take care of the house more than I do. You're definitely more invested in the house psychologically.
Yeah.
Like the way I probably see a lot of my input in the house almost like a to-do list kind of thing. Like I have to do this, and this, and maybe you see it a bit more like something you're kind of keeping alive on the daily.
There are things that I see like a bit, but I kind of take. I can go to the place of, oh, I have to do this and like, you know, because I don't enjoy housework. It's not something, but I make it enjoyable. So I'll put on a podcast and I'll kind of, and I sometimes I tell myself, okay, I am the serenity bringer, or I will tell myself something like I am the bringer of comfort and luxury. And that gets me into
like the hotel maid kind of thing.
No.
Sorry.
No. But it helps me. It helps me to get into that zone, and also to appreciate the space that we're in, to have gratitude for the space that we're in.
Oh, that's important.
You know, because if we just, you know, we're both so invested in our work that it's easy to put the house like on the back, kind of, you know, and not make it a priority, but like, this is where we live, this is our environment. So
yeah, when we start to see it as an extension of our relationship, I think it's much easier. And I think both of us find ways to make what we do a bit more enjoyable. So like I'll use it as a process to wake up, for example, if I'm doing dishes or whatever, and then Emma will use it as a process to learn. So she'll listen to like either an audiobook or a podcast.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is we do tend to have, like when we do have arguments about housework, it tends to be that I feel I do more, and at the same time she's feeling she's doing more.
I don't always feel I do more. It's not true. I don't feel I do more, because you do a lot. I feel, and sometimes I actually feel like you do more. I feel like we go in phases.
Oh, fair enough.
You know, it's just that, so I am more consistent with the housework. It's not that I do more or you do less. It's like I will do it consistently. Whereas you will sometimes go through a phase where it's like abandoned ship, like, and then you jump in and you'll do it all in like a week, and it's like, whoa, you know?
Yeah, but it's basically how we work, I suppose. Like you're much more structured in the way that you approach life in general.
Because I don't like things to pile up. I want everything to just kind of go smoothly.
So there's a challenge here, because I challenged Emma to this and she still like half didn't accept. But what we're going to do is for a month we're going to switch chores, and that's like, there's like a double effect there. One, we actually have to list the chores we do, which is kind of weird because it's a bit bureaucratic, and
we have to teach each other how to do. Oh, no,
it's interesting to kind of weigh, kind of like, so that you can, but I think that it needs to be for a month so that we actually get to appreciate what the other does, and we get to understand the kind of like psychology behind where we come from when we have an argument about maybe the fact that, I don't know, I feel that I have to do stuff in particular times because things need to get ready. Or maybe you feel that I'm not contributing enough to certain things. So basically I challenged her for a month of switch, and we have to wait to see whether she's going to accept it or not.
The thing is that a lot of our house chores we end up doing for each other anyway, so it's not going to be like it's, I don't know
how come you had resistance to switching for a month?
No, because it's going to be, I'll do it. What?
Resistance.
No, I'll do it, but it's going to, like, already kind of, if I see the trash hasn't been done, I'll do it. Like,
yeah, no, I think that's a general philosophy.
You know, there have been times that you will fold the clothes, like, kind of, because I haven't had a chance to do it. Or
no, but it's not
whatever.
about
so
that
it's
overlap. Like, for me, it's much more...
we just switch the main responsibility.
Yes,
like, okay, so...
Just to understand.
So, if and when we do it, we will vlog it. Yeah,
You'll vlog it.
I will vlog it, but you have to vlog it too, because you have to vlog the parts that you do. So anyway, I will report back to you. So are you challenging people to do it too?
Well, I'm challenging you, and then from you, I suppose we should challenge them as well.
All right.
So if you are having this argument, I think it might be a useful tool.
Okay.
1 month switch.
So stay tuned. Emma makes Pete go to therapy. And this was a 68% yes and a 32% no. Do I make you go to therapy?
I think in a strange way, you probably, like from my view of it, she made me go to therapy at the beginning of our relationship.
You chose to go to therapy.
Yeah, I chose. The situation kind of made me choose to go to therapy.
But you went to therapy before I did at the beginning.
No, yes, I used to go to therapy. So I used to go to therapy before we met, and then I think as we met and kind of like the kind of relationship dynamic develops, you were kind of like, listen, you really need to work on this. This is something that has to change.
Yeah.
For us to be able to stay together. So that's why when I say you made me go to therapy, I feel that it's something that you kind of made me realize, listen, this is something you need to work on for us to be able to survive.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And I went to therapy too. Like you did yours and I did mine.
But the interesting thing is that lately I'm the one who made her come to therapy.
Yes.
So she's been slacking.
I slacked for a little bit. Like I did my coaching. I'm still doing my coaching always, but I was investing more energy in my business, and I was putting love on the back burner a little. And Pete was like, "Oh, like kind of, I think you should go back to therapy." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started again, which is good.
I think we both see the value in therapy. So it's not like Emma's there with the whip going like, go to therapy, and I'm like this like.
But I think that they did. I think that you caught on to something, because like I am the kind of person who wouldn't be with somebody who didn't invest in their own self-growth and self-development. Like it's already like challenging enough to, how can I put this, not to make it work,
so
but
what you're saying is like, like if you're putting a lot of energy into it and you're the kind of person who puts a lot of energy into it, it's a bit like playing a game of basketball or whatever, like like if you're in a team and you're putting 100%, you want to look around and see the other people in the team.
That's everyone else is putting in 100%. Like you want to be putting in 100% and your partner's putting in 20. Like it's never going to work. You're going to end up completely dissatisfied. So yeah, I would never be with somebody who doesn't invest fully. So yeah, I kind of
part of that. Yeah.
I don't.
We kind of call each other out.
Yeah,
I think that's the interesting thing. We both call each other out. Like when we say, like, listen, there's this thing. I feel like we need to figure it out, and it's going to be very difficult to figure out without somebody.
Yeah, I
mean, the third person who's impartial.
Exactly, and we need guidance, right? And it's like you go and you learn something. Like if you don't know how to drive, you go learn how to drive from someone. And if you're having difficulty communicating something, you go and you seek guidance. Or if you're having difficulty understanding something within yourself, something complex, something that's not so simple, you go and you seek that guidance.
So we both see that each other is growing and we're growing together. So it's not something that we are made to do. It's something we choose to do, and we just kind of point out to each other when we feel, listen, like maybe we should be putting more energy in this direction or that direction.
Exactly. Emma is always calm and in control. 23% yes and 77% no. And I put this as an assumption because people have actually said it to you, People have said like...
especially at the beginning of our relationship, I would always tell you, like, if we ever end up in court for some reason or other, I'm totally screwed. Because everybody's like, Emma, she's great, she's calm, she's in control, And I'm like... So I would be there on the character stand, like trying to get all my friends together to make me look like a decent human being.
But then everybody says you're super chilled. So probably everybody just thinks we're just a super chill, calm couple. But anyway, everybody voted no. So, 70-something% voted no. So, I'm not always calm and in control. And I think you guys know this about me because I value practices like meditation, visualization, deep breathing, and obviously I teach this not because I was born super chilled, but because I was born super passionate and I had to learn how to chill out.
It's true, it's useful.
You guys.
It's a bit like,
you guys nailed it.
It's an interbeing situation. It's a bit like poles of a magnet. You never have the North Pole strong and the South Pole weak. They have to be weak and strong together. So I suppose the fact that you're very passionate then also helps you in other ways So the fact that you kind of like put energy into kind of
So no, I'm not always chilled, and I do experience anger, and I experience frustration and sadness. The difference is I don't choose to stay there. In the past, before I started practicing all these things, I would very easily get caught in a place of anger or sadness, and have difficulty getting out of that space. And it's sort of, you start to identify with it, kind of thing. And then when I started my therapy journey, and then eventually coaching and also meditation, it helped me to see that I don't need to stay in that place. I don't need to identify with that space. I don't need to be an angry person. I don't need to be a sad person. I can experience anger, and I can experience sadness, and I can see what they're telling me, what these emotions are telling me, and then I can use them to fuel my work, to fuel my creativity, to create the life I want.
But you become in control of the energy rather than the energy controls you.
Exactly.
That's so it's exactly like there's this awesome podcast by Joe Rogan with Mike Tyson, and they discuss his process over time. And Mike Tyson was literally like trained and taught to be a killing machine from the age of like 11. And one of the things he was discussing is how nobody ever taught him to switch the switch off. So he would very often find himself in situations where if he felt out of control, so like when he had a child and he like felt out of control because he didn't know what to do, he'd just get extremely angry, and that was the only way he knew how to output energy. So I think it's interesting to basically understand what is the root of your energy, and then learn mastery in controlling and directing that energy.
Yeah. You guys never shout at each other. 83% said no, and 17% said yes. Yeah, you're right. We do shout at each other sometimes.
I never shout at you.
You're snappier than me.
No, I can get a bit bitchy, like if I'm hurt, I suppose.
Yeah. Whereas I'm less snappy, but I will just be like, like leave me alone, So yeah. Of course we shout at each other sometimes.
But the other thing I think is that we just basically do it. Like now we're learning more and more to do it in a spirit of at least restraining that part of you that when you're in an argument, you just kind of want to overcome the other person. So you kind of start doing things literally to hurt the other person or to put them down, or in some way to just push them under. So I think now, even if we get angry or we snap at each other, we're somehow try to gain awareness of the fact that
it's still constructive.
It's you on the other side, and we try to keep it as constructive as possible.
Yeah, we don't just go into a I'm out to destroy you kind of mode. Yeah. You communicate openly with each other. 96% yes and 4% no. I think yes. For the most part, we communicate very openly with each other.
But I mean, my character trait is I tend to be reserved.
Yeah.
So I'm actually learning how to communicate openly, because it's one thing I'm not that naturally good at. So part of being chilled for me is just kind of like doing my own thing and going to the side. And if I don't like what's happening, I'll just leave.
As opposed to say, hey, I'm not okay with this, and this is what I want.
So this is something that I personally have a bit of a learning curve still to achieve, kind of like to actually like state my ground and say like, no, this is the way I want it.
But you're totally working on it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I feel it. I feel the difference in our relationship, because you're more present, you're more alive, and you tell me, no, I don't want that. And it's like, okay, cool. I would much rather know that than, be told yes.
And another part of it, which is interesting, is to teach myself that Emma is not the kind of person who's not okay with me saying what I want. So there's a lot of it is a precept that I think that if I say what I want, then maybe she's going to say, no, I don't want that, or things are going to get very, whatever, disturbed, or in some way kind of very unstable. And the reality is, the more I put myself out there, the more I realize you're actually okay with me being out there, and it feels a bit more stable, really. So
yeah. So on the whole, yes, you guys are right. We do communicate openly with each other. I think that sometimes it takes us a bit of time to figure out exactly what we want. But then once we create that space of safety, yes, we're honest and we say what we need to say. Your wedding was the best day of your life. 84% voted yes and 16% voted no. So what do you think? Was our wedding day the best day of your life?
I mean, it could sound cliche, but there was a lot of. I really felt it was a very expanding day. That was like the main. It was really beautiful to be there, to see you come into church, to see how I reacted to that, like to go through the wedding process. It's a big thing that we planned for a long time, and to see it unfold, and to see it work, and to see people happy for us, and then I also really loved. Basically, Emma and myself had worked on playing some music together.
Yeah.
So that kind of really brought us together. So for me, there was a lot of growth in the sense that
There was.
It was not just kind of like, okay, it's us and we get married and that's it. It was a very, as a day, there was a lot of experience of togetherness and growth. So
yeah,
in a strange way, to me, it was one of the best days of my life for sure.
You're so much more romantic than me, because I was gonna be like, no. But not like it wasn't. But what I mean is like, because I was just thinking about the day itself, and I was just like, for me, it was an amazing day. Like I loved it, especially that sense of togetherness, as you're saying, you and me and our families, and it was, and our friends, and it was so like, it was a really beautiful experience.
But
so
there was that one time
no,
on
no,
band
no,
camp.
no. From that aspect, like it was really beautiful. But you were speaking about the process as well of creating the day, and there was a whole process to creating the day, because it was, we had the Kana course and we really enjoyed it, and we had a good Kana teacher. Yeah. There was a lot of us in our wedding, and it really, honestly, it was a really beautiful day.
I still want to know, so which day was better than our wedding day?
No, it wasn't that.
Apparently it wasn't the best day of your life.
It wasn't that. It's just that, like, a lot of people told me that, a lot of people told me, like, when your wedding's over, you're going to experience an anticlimax. And I didn't experience it. So what I mean isn't that, oh, my wedding wasn't fun, or it wasn't. My wedding was amazing and I loved it. And honestly, I super loved it. I loved it. Even now when I watch the video, I'm just like, oh my God, it was so much fun and so much dancing. And like, my parents were really involved, and they really put a lot of love. Like, my dad's speech was insane. My mom really taught a lot about detail and design. So it was really, really beautiful. What I mean is just that for me, it wasn't like the highlight of my life, and like now there's nothing else. We had many other amazing days.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So basically what you're saying is like it didn't stop there. It kind of was the beginning.
No, and in fact, I remember waking up the next day feeling like that was an amazing, amazing day. Like, awesome, what's next? Like, it wasn't like, oh no, now the wedding's over. And I never really got that feeling of, I wish we could go back and do it all again. I was just like, that was awesome. Like, what's the next project? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, of course it's okay. It'll be okay. Give it the best day of my life. But you don't think it's the same?
But okay. It was one. It's definitely up on the. It's definitely up on the one of the best days of my. Okay, it probably was the. I don't really think of days in terms of competition. I think of days in terms of presence, and I'm present right now. So if that was like the best day of my life, it's like. It's
you
like
don't want
saying,
to reduce the value of.
I don't want to reduce the value of each moment, kind of thing. So. Yes, it most definitely was one of the best days of my life, for sure. And one of the reasons it was the best day of my life was because I was 100% present, and I didn't allow my expectations for the day to take over, because otherwise, obviously, certain things went not according to plan, and, there were certain hiccups and whatever. But if I had allowed the expectation to take over, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And I take that same philosophy into every day. Our wedding was definitely one of the best days of my life, for sure. But what I'm saying is just that, like, I don't see it as being like the be all and end all. Like there will be no other amazing days. There've been loads of amazing days. Like, I had an amazing day yesterday. Like, I was with my family and we were singing karaoke. For me, that was an amazing day. So. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just that's
what
you're
being misinterpreted. I think what you're trying to say is you don't like kind of saying, that was the best day of my life, and that, like, so everything has to measure up to it somehow, that it doesn't become the reference point.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is it was a day that you felt present and you appreciate, like pretty much in the same way that I was talking about it. But
Yes.
you don't want to make it some kind of reference that then
Exactly, because
things have to measure up to.
that wasn't like the achievement. That was the beginning.
Yeah.
If I see it as the best day of my life, like it's like that was the beginning of our marriage. So it's like, no man, there are so many more amazing days to come, you know, and I have had amazing days. Like the workshop was an amazing day because we worked as a team. We made it happen together. Yesterday, hanging out with my family was an amazing day because we're goofing around, singing karaoke.
So what you're saying is, in a way, kind of like, maybe if there are people out there who are still going to get married, or maybe there are people who got married and they don't see their wedding day, like they don't have this like great attachment that they feel they should have to their wedding day.
Yeah.
That it's fine, and that the point, the main lesson you've learned is really about presence more than anything else.
Yeah.
And about learning to be present.
Yeah.
With the people you love and with the day and the way it's going.
Exactly. It was the beginning. Cool. Okay, guys.
Shall we say bye?
Okay, we had real fun filming this, and we'll see you in part 2. Give us a like if you liked it, and please share it if you found value in this video, and subscribe for more. And we're sending you love, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.